Yeah, no, I think going after your network and having a conversation. See, these are folks that trust you,
Yes.
understand your caliber, know you, right? And they'll always be open to at least hearing what is new out there, right? And like you were saying, tool sprawl is huge in cybersecurity. I see customers spending so much money, getting so little value in some cases, right? Um, and it's like a false sense of security. You feel that you have this, you
Everything.
know, this tool, but in some cases it's not even turned on, right? And the example that you were sharing, which is sim, I remember back in the day there would be people who need to know the language for the query that needs to be built
Yes.
in, that has to be fed into the sim. It was so hard to get actual data. If I'm a CISO, if I want an answer on, if I want to know this particular IP address which is now a suspected CNC, how many such probes are going out, or which other endpoints are are interacting with, or sending a beacon out from my environment. It would require a very long query. It would require somebody, an expert. All of that is just so much time, right? And like you said, this would delay decision making, right?
Yes.
On multiple fronts, right? So you don't know.
This is the exact problem which I faced when I see so, and which I've taken a step to solve it, right? One of the common challenges, right, is this device running AV or not, or EDR or not, right? Now, CISO has to call some guy and say, hey, his machine is behaving weirdly. Check what's happening. He has to
Yes.
rely on him. If he had access to something like a Copilot, hey, what is the status on this machine? What is the baseline? When was it last scanned? Right? He can make immediate decisions. I think that is a definitely big gap that I've seen. And most of the times when you go in as a new CISO, there is the conversation that you have with different business leaders within the space. And when you go to your team, there is a completely different discussion because they both don't match in
Yeah.
terms implementation, in terms of what the business leaders believe is secure, right?
Yeah.
So these gaps is what we are aiming at. Once our product is live, probably I'll send an invite, check it
No,
out.
we would love to check it out.
Yeah.
And what you're trying to solve makes sense, because CISOs typically don't get quick answers. And going back to what we were talking about, which is, it's not about can I be breached, it's about when I'm breached,
Yes.
how fast can I bounce back, right? And the ability to detect quickly and move very quickly is very important, right? That's where the true resilience is built.
Yeah.
And faster intel allows them to make faster decisions, right?
Yeah, nowadays, every companies I think are focused on resilience rather than
Yeah.
just running business. They are more focused on resilience, cyber attack or
Yeah.
political situation, geopolitical storms, right? Whatever happens, they want their business to be resilient. I've spoken to a couple of leaders in the space. They all speak the same language now. It's all resilience.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, one thing I wanted to get from you, right? You do the Comfort Foundation, right?
Yes.
What is it
Yes.
about? Because I always had a passion to give back something to the community. One of the ways that I do is I go to my college, which is a government college in Bangalore, KR Circle. I'm sure you would have never heard it. It's Government Sri Krishna Rajendra Silver Jubilee Technological Institute. Pretty long
Okay.
name.
Very
But
long name. Yeah.
you know Marani's college?
Yes.
In KR Circle, right next to it. Maradi College
Okay.
is famous for
Okay.
obvious reasons, but our college
Yes.
is hidden. So a lot of people in there have very good potential. They come from village backgrounds. Government college being they have the top academic records. They have a lot of potential, but they miss out on the opportunity to enter corporate because they're
Yes.
unconfident, right? So one of the ways that I'm doing is trying to go talk to them, prepare them on the latest technologies, how to handle interviews, how to get a grip on communication. See, there is no longer English. It's like whether you're able to communicate your point right to the audience or not. So these kind of
Yeah.
things I'm doing just to enable them to enter the workforce so they can, because most of the people I see, they have 80% aggregate, 90% aggregate throughout their engineering, go back to their villages, right? They are losing out on a lot more potential that they are, but they don't know it yet. I'm just trying to unlock their potential. That is something that I do. So happy to hear about what you do because I recently started this once I was back from Dubai. That's when I was able to find time. So I see
Sure.
you're doing it for 13 plus years.
Yeah, yeah. So the Comfort Foundation focuses on uh, educating poor children in Coorg, which is 250 kilometers south from Bangalore. Um, and like they said, charity starts at home. So I obviously had to start, in an environment that we knew. In a lot of cases, it's about how do you support children who are, good in studies, good in school, right? And how do you provide them with an ability to not worry about paying school fees based on the economic background. So we do a match. We understand, that, and then we find sponsors who can sponsor this child all the way up to 12, right?
Right,
So in a lot of cases, it's not even directly funding it through the foundation. It's about finding the right person who might see a reason to support this child, right? And a lot of folks have wholeheartedly given money, and that's the good part, right? Over 100 students at any given time are funded by the foundation. There've been a lot of success stories, children who've even finished their engineering. The first couple of folks who joined are today engineers and now working in various companies, right? And it's through the support that they got from the sponsors. We're just a medium that's finding you the right sponsor and
yeah.
finding the right child, because it's very important to bring the two together, right? And execute on that. Now, so that's more at the grassroots level. But on the cyber angle, we of course give a lot of talks in a lot of companies, but this year we did something different. I started to realize that as a company, we were only going to certain types of colleges, certain tier of colleges, only hiring certain students,
Yeah.
right? Without giving opportunities to a lot more who would never get a cybersecurity opportunities. So this year we hired 8 students straight out of commerce background, your BCom, some I think have BCA, but BCom, BSc, BBA, folks that could have never built a career in cybersecurity. We brought them in with the entire thing that let's train you ground up and see if you folks can succeed. So it's a pilot program at Accorion that we're running right now, and these folks are I think month 3 of their training, and we'll know the results in a year. But the intent was how do we develop new skill, right? Because the engineers will always get the right kind of jobs, they'll always have the right opportunities, and somebody's decision of what they wanted to do after 12th grade should not, define what they have to do for the rest of their life. If suppose
Mm.
somebody's truly passionate in cybersecurity, they should do it. And I should actually call out 2 people uh, at Accorion. One is, one's no more at Accorion, but Ronak and Sanket, both of them, and Sanket's still at Accorion. Both of these guys come from a BCom background, right? But they're one of the best pen testers I've met, right?
Wow.
For their true passion of how they do what they do, and they really enjoy what they do, right? And I've
Nice.
come across so many such cases when I saw folks who did not have an engineering background or a STEM background and then built a career in security, right? If you look in the US also, a lot of the folks in security are ex-military without engineering, or a lot of folks who are on the financial risk side who pivoted into security,
Yep.
right? And that that just empowered us all the more to make this decision and to start this pilot program. And I'm excited because the results will definitely, I feel it's going to turn out to be a great new start into what a Korean's going to hire from universities.
Nice, nice. Because as you said, sometimes unexpected sources gives you the great results, right? One of
Yes.
the things that I've seen in this hackathons, DEFCON, everything, most of the people who are amazing at their work in terms of getting or reaching into a system, some of them are gamers. You can't even think of it, right? A gamer
Yeah.
trying to get into an IoT device or an electric car and stuff. And some of the people in Google Project Zero have an unconventional background, right?
Yes.
Place where they reach. And that's some of the things that I look for when hiring, kids or out of the college. Are they hungry to learn? Right? Skill you
Yes.
can reach them, but are they hungry to learn? So that's what I look at. I think, especially present generation with the available tools that they have now, kids are coming out with ChatGPT in their default app list, right?
Yeah.
They have so much information at their disposal that they can utilize it right. They can compete with some of the best in the market right now. So that's what I see, how hungry they are in terms of willing to learn. And that's one of our core principle that we take people in. Whether they have skill or not, that's secondary. We can teach them skill, but we can't force them to learn,
Yeah,
right? So they have to
exactly.
highlight themselves. So
And it's
Amit,
lesser skill today. It's
yeah,
more about, am I curious? Do I have attention to
yes,
detail? Right? And there's a reason why gamers is one of the best hackers, or anybody who plays a lot of sport is also, could be somebody who would be great at security, because the competitive nature, the ability to find ways to think of things differently. At
yeah,
the end of the day, strategy also, when you look at a IRE device or you're looking at a network, you're trying to pin a lot of things together, right? You're trying to create like this ability to see beyond what somebody else would, or try something different. To give you
yeah,
an example, this very large bank couple of years ago, most often, most normal people will be like, can I transfer money from somebody else's account to my account, etc., etc. Till a hacker realized, this one kid realized that, forget anything else. I will do a transfer from my side to somebody else, but I'll do a negative
minus,
deposit,
yes,
right? So I'll change the amount, right? And it really needs a certain bent of mind,
yeah,
right, to kind of do that, right? And these are, so I think it's very important for certain skills, like in compliance or in penetration testing. Look out for these people. Like in compliance, look out for people who have attention to detail.
yeah,
For pen testing, look out for curiosity, right, or problem solving.
yeah,
And in a lot of cases, folks have built this in school by doing various activities that we don't realize, right? Playing sports, playing board games, playing games, all of those would help with some of this.
yeah, yeah, definitely. But it's a great initiative. I appreciate what you guys are doing there. Hope it becomes a grand success and pays for a people who didn't expect their career to be turned out in IT, but they become great, leaders in the space. Yeah.
Yeah, no, looking forward to it.
Yeah, yeah. So, a couple of things on how current ecosystem in terms of cybersecurity is, right? See, many businesses are siloed efforts in cybersecurity. The VAPT team is doing something, the SOC is doing something, GRC is doing something, and architecture team is doing their own changes. How do you see, you know, what's critical today in terms of when it comes to compliance? mm, let's say penetration testing, SOC, or security architecture, because most of the teams are occupied with this stuff in their own efforts, but they are unable to prioritize most of the times because one team says this is the immediate requirement, the other team says this is immediate. So how do you see?
Yes. Yeah, that's the tightrope that a CISO has to walk, right? Which is, how do I what do I focus on? What's the burning issue of the day, right? I think holistically, one thing is companies that have started to do a lot of consolidated reporting on security, right? So looking at offense, defense, looking at product, and then you triage what's important every day and you focus on that. That's the only way to do it. And that's what CISOs are doing, which is creating like an overall security dashboard to understand what's happening and then focus on the most important stuff of the day and what has to be deprioritized, right? Because even if you can solve five big problems in security today, it's going to compound to something much bigger later.
Mm,
So companies are doing that. And the triaging becomes very important because, for one team, like you say, maybe their issues are very important. In some cases, if it's to do with monitoring, right, there are some, big incidents or alerts that are coming up, or some correlation that's happened from a alert to a incident, and now you're like, okay, I gotta look at this. It's all based on priority, right,
yeah,
and focusing on that. And companies, it's a tight rope, right? It's a lot of work, right? Mean time to detect is now today, in some cases seconds, but mean time to remediate is like days, months, weeks. And that is what companies need to focus on, right? Or find strategies, whether it's virtual patching, whether it's something else, find strategies to at least have some level of security through a compensatory control.
yeah. See, and one of the things also CISO and predominantly organization struggle is how do they decide, hey, this I have a team to do it, this I can give it to a reseller, distributor, or a partner in their ecosystem, right? How
Yeah.
do uh, can you give some examples where you have seen it's done right, right? Because a lot of CISOs have been, they try to build something in-house, they fail, then they try to find a partner. Sometimes they find a partner, it's a wrong partner, then they reverse it
Yeah.
back to having internal. What do you say about it?
So in most cases, I see a mix, right? In our client segments, in small to medium size, what we typically see is most customers are okay outsourcing the entire security operations. They're
Nice.
like, if can you manage everything for us, like vulnerability management, compliance management, and SOC, right? Which is the entire suite is outsourced away. And the person who's playing the role of a CIO, CISO may have a smaller team who's monitoring and managing all of these efforts and making sure it's happening. It's cost effective for them
Yeah.
because, rather than having a very large team, now they just have fractional teams doing all of this while getting the same bang for the buck, right? This changes once you get to a particular size or certain revenue, or maybe because of your inherent risk. Maybe you're a hedge fund and you've now, because you've done a certain things, you want to bring in a lot more things internally so that you can manage it better, right? Or because it's high, it's high severity, right? It's something that, you don't want to work with a partner for,
Mm,
right? And then some larger enterprises outsource everything, right? And they only bring in larger enterprises have everything in house, and they
no.
only uh, sub or they bring in a third party for audits, for pen testing, for third party assurance, and that works fine, right? But it depends on your budget, what's required, what size you're at. If I were to tell, right, it's like working with a lawyer, right? Or it's like working with any expert in a particular field. You don't want to start and be like, okay, yes, you can figure out everything on your own. It is going to be a uphill task. It's going to cost you a lot of time and money and resources. How
Yeah.
about just go start working with an expert who's going to come and tell you, okay, fine, this is what your tech landscape. This is what we can do. And this is how we can bring up your security and put a roadmap together. And a big part of what Accorion does today, and I opened with that, which is I want to believe that our biggest core strength is our strategy, right? Is the time we spend. In a lot of cases, the conversations we have with our customers is, this is my landscape. So we go and like, okay, fine. How about you do some consolidation? How about you carve certain scope out? How about rather than having 10 different dashboards, bring it into an aggregated UTM type solution, right? So we give those kind of advisories to our customers so that it's easier for them to manage, right? And they get better outcome, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it's in-house, outsourced.
Yeah.
Your core KPIs for security are how fast can you detect, how fast can you remediate, right? What's your backlog in terms of vulnerabilities, right? On your SOC side, whether alerts can be triaged into, alerts can be correlated into an incident, and how many triaged incidents are you seeing per day, and what is the speed to close something, right? Those are the core things, right? So, and some of it AI can enable and make faster, but then it's purely a decision of a company of what do they want to do, what their size is, and what's the inherent risk, right?
Yeah, and makes sense because we do have a couple of customers who have outsourced SOC, let's say MDR, managed detection and response, running on Sentinel, Splunk, or Elastic. The idea for them is peace of mind. I have somebody
Yes.
looking at it. That's one. The second thing where a customer, which we had a whole Microsoft 365 stack, the tool consolidation, the one which we spoke about, tool sprawl. Now there is this
Yeah.
consolidation that's happening, especially with Microsoft leading the whole security stack, right? So
Yes.
customer wanted to build that consolidation in-house, and he had to hire like um, 4 or 5 specialists to the project because Defender, the whole stack of Defender for Cloud, Intunes, Microsoft 365, Purview, DLP solutions, the email gateway. So you have to, it's very hard to find those skill sets. One. Second, he had to fight in terms of budget and the constraints they had. Though, so one of the things uh, that he was opened up is, hey, I can get this in the fraction of the cost by outsourcing it, right?
Yeah.
I I can rely on somebody to this is the outcome I want to have, do this, right? I need all this stack consolidated under Microsoft. My SOC has to run with 24 bar 7 on Sentinel. So that
Right.
was interesting. And that's where, we did what you mentioned, right? Like you can build $1 million team, or you can
Yeah.
get it at a fraction of the cost by outsourcing. But there is that
Correct.
inherent in terms of how secure. That's where this SOC 2 and other data protection audits and certification come into picture, right?
Absolutely.
Giving you that trust. Hey, they know what they're talking about. They have their own certifications and audits going on. So that gives kind of smooth transition to outsourcing. And that is one of the largest uptakes I have seen in MSP and MSSP, right? Handling customer data, go get a SOC 2, right?
Yes.
And couple of
Yes.
SOC 2 implementations where the primary requirement is, hey, we are going to lose this customer if we don't have SOC.
Exactly. Yeah. 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 Like I said, compliance is driving security spend, and in a very nice way,
And
because
the longest challenge that I remember having, how to show return on investment on security when I was CISO and before that. Now, for these companies, it's straightforward. Hey, you implement, you get a customer. You don't implement,
exactly,
you get a customer.
we
So
lose
it's
a customer.
really tied to revenue now, especially for service providers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The return for security investments is always a hard question, right? It's like insurance, right? You don't need it till you need it, and when you need it, you need it. You need a lot of it, right? So, so yeah.
See,
So
I think we are coming on time. I'm not sure how
sure,
we can extend, but I'll just try to wind it up in a couple of minutes. So, one quick thing, probably I'll invite you for another group conversation where we are planning this show, especially what we call Tech Leadership Club. Invite all the members, give a topic of discussion. One of the things, let's consider compliance. What are the challenges, right? Have that brainstorming session. One of
sure.
the motive for this, for me to do this, is when we speak like this, there is a lot of information that overflows but not captured anywhere.
Yes,
This is to give that audience a insight into how different experiences have come up with solving different problems, right?
correct.
There's no one problem, one solution immediately, but there are different problem, different solutions. Some work, some doesn't work in if you apply the same formula. So that's the
Yeah,
idea behind it. So final 5 minutes, probably I'll go for a quick rapid fire questions. Okay.
sure.
One book or a topic which you would like to refer to future leaders or current leaders to know about it.
About security or just running businesses?
Just running business or security. Since you are the founder and also been in cybersecurity, it can apply for both.
Yeah. So I think one book would be by Yuval Harari, 30 lessons for the 20 lessons for the 21st century. I think that's a great book. But that said, one mentality that one should have. I mean, books are great, but I think there's a lot to learn from, leaders who have done this much better. Jeff Bezos has a mentality called day one, which is
Hmm.
always in a company operate from a premise of day one, right? It's the first day. There's a lot of change. Don't get into the day two mentality where it's stagnation and death, as he says. So day one mentality of Bezos is pretty cool, right? And I think all of us should have, right? That
Nice. Definitely, I'll take note because I'm that first company founder. I did few of the things not wholeheartedly before, but now I've started AS13.ai. Primary revenue goal is services. Then we have trainings, whatever we do for the
yes,
people. Second, we are trying to streamline our products, the problems that we face. So these three revenue angles we are starting on. I would need a lot more advice than that, but I'll reach out personally.
sure, whatever I
Yeah.
can help with. Yes.
Okay. A tool or an app that you can't live with.
Oh, ChatGPT today.
That was straight.
but but that said, I think a tool that I can't live without is definitely Outlook. Anybody
Okay.
who works at Accorion knows that I'm very big on email. And frankly speaking, I love the asynchronous nature of it and the ability of getting information back and forth very quickly, right? So Outlook definitely the highest use, and then ChatGPT. Yeah,
Yeah. So, best leadership lesson you learned the hard way.
The best leadership advice or what lesson, definitely. I don't think you can keep everybody happy. I don't think it's a possibility, right?
Yeah.
There'll always
Yes.
be instances where someone's not going to be happy, and as a leader early on we always feel that we're only good as leaders if suppose our people like us,
Yeah.
but that's not true, right? As leaders, it's not about how much they like us. As leaders, we only have, and I always say this in at Accorion as well, we only have one responsibility towards our people, is to get the best out of them and to push them to levels where they never thought that they could reach, right? So it's constantly to work with them to uncover. It's like, you know, first you start riding a cycle with training wheels on, and then it comes off, right? And then you start doing these really long rides. Similarly, as leaders, we have to motivate our people and get them to do their best that they can, right? And so it's not about how much your folks like you, it's whether how much have they grown in their journey. And that's what gives me the most amount of content.
Definitely. I think that is something that I believe sometimes people don't like you, that's fine. If they are growing, you kind of contributed for them to grow. By disliking you or
Yes,
like you, that doesn't matter. Yeah.
agreed. Agreed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. If you want to summarize cybersecurity as a philosophy, right? Security is, let's say, fill it out, dash.
Security is need of the hour. Security is not nice to have anymore, right? And security today is the growth accelerator of tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
I-
So some of the codes that I have learned, probably it will sound cliche, but some of the codes I have seen is security is the brakes that lets you drive faster, you know?
True, exactly, 100%. I love that. It is
Yeah.
true. It is true.
Yeah, just to
Great.
conclude, Aditya, thank you for doing this. It
Thank you
was a
so
very
much.
yes,
This
you
is
made it, but I think there is a catch up that is pending. We need to definitely catch up. And I've spoken
yes,
to Deepak also. Probably I'll invite him on the show also once. Probably you guys can
yes,
tag him. And I'm planning
yes.
couple follow-ups also. So definitely it will
Looking
be
forward to
great
it.
to catch up. One
Yeah,
through mutual connection, second probably physically also. But
yeah.
as I'm starting out, we have been 3 months. We all have 6 clients that we're able to manage. We need all the blessings, I would call it, because some of the people that I look up to is some of the people I invite here, like you, because you guys have started something and grown multinationally, what, around 60 countries or 100 countries?
No, lesser
You
countries, but I think more clients, like 400 plus clients. Yeah,
400 plus clients. Yeah, that is
yeah.
an amazing achievement because frankly, I didn't know how amazing that was until I started a company. Because for me to get a 6 lines, that was a journey on its own, right? For
Yeah,
you guys
but it
to,
compounds. It compounds.
yeah,
You're on the right journey, right? It compounds. Just, I think, as long as you give value and obsess about it with your customers, they'll always
yeah,
stick by you.
yeah, that is something that I've seen missing in the cybersecurity. And if you look at our company also, you know, trust, truth, and transparency. We don't
Yeah.
say, hey, we will do that, we will do this.
Yes.
If you need, we will do that. If you don't need, we'll straight away say you don't need to do this because it's already
Exactly.
there, right? And
Exactly.
that's what we are into. Just deliver value. Don't expect anything else from the customer. See,
Yes. Yes.
cool. But
Awesome. No, this was a fun chat, Arun. I think there was some bunch of nice questions which made me think, and it was good to see that. Right.
uh, I would like to make this more informal, but my team suggests, hey, you need to do this because the first one, this is the second one. It will be out
Yes.
soon. It's more
Okay.
informal. Now the team said make it more formal. I don't know, but I'll try to keep it as formal as possible. But see, I would like to have open, free conversation because that's when you unlock knowledge. You can't come with a playbook
Absolutely.
to,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
get people
You
to
can't have a
talk.
script.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
But all the
So
best with whatever you're doing
thank
with
you.
good.
No, I'm
What
yeah, I'm looking
foundation.
forward to your success with AS13 and everything that you guys do in the AI space. And I think from what I could gather, you're definitely trying to look at a consolidation play, which is the
Yes.
need of the hour because most
Yes.
folks are clueless, right? And they are unable to get real value. So I think there's a direct uh, market fit that you could have.
Yeah, one of the challenge that I see is now companies have 100 plus AI tools. Google has its own, Microsoft has its own, Salesforce has its own.
Yeah,
We can't keep track anymore. Everybody are
yeah,
blended into their products. So
yeah.
let's hope how the market looks after 2 to 3 years,
Yes.
because definitely it's unpredictable at the moment.
It's the most exciting time to be
Yeah,
born in human civilization, as per me, right? We're seeing the final industrial revolution,
yeah,
something that could change how humans operate and will be, and it's amazing. It's amazing to be, alive at this time and to be in technology at this time.
yeah.
And for
The work
both of us to be in security. Yeah.
Yeah,
What
the
more?
culture is completely shifted. Now I have my teammates whose primary app is ChatGPT, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when we started out, there was Google, Stack Overflow, and other, key websites that you find how to troubleshoot, understand concept, and implement stuff. Now
Yes.
everything GPT, the whole work culture is shifted. One of the
Yeah.
challenge I would see, hiring these people probably in couple of ways down the line. How do you qualify them on technical aspect? Because they rely on ChatGPT's technical aspects. If you ask them to solve a problem, they'll say, "I'll ask ChatGPT," but will they be able to explain the flow of what they did? It's an interesting challenge to see in the future, because hiring and the skill gap probably it may become bigger.
Yes, 100%. I think critical reasoning is going to be the only barometer to see if suppose somebody can solve a problem. And you have to
Yeah,
give them it's like back in the day or even now, you have open book tests. You have access to a book, but that
yeah,
doesn't mean you can solve a problem. You can give someone, you can be like, hey, build a bridge. I'll give you, all the books about bridges. You can't, right? You can't, you'll fail, right? Very similarly. So you have to give them a task where you can monitor how they can utilize the information, distill it, and apply it rather than just banking on it, right? Because we all know, AI hallucinates a lot, right?
yeah, a lot.
So you never know what you're because at the end of the day, and there have been cases where people just copy pasted. Like back in the day, it was Stack Overflow. Today, it's ChatGPT. You copy paste code, and you don't know what's happening then, right?
No,
So when you start asking them line by line, is when you start to understand how much they actually know.
cool, cool. Yeah, really exciting times, as you said. Definitely things to look forward for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. All right, awesome. Thank you so much for your time. This is a good chat, Aaron, and I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to all your success. Happy to help in any way or form that we can, and I'm looking forward to you creating a forum where security leaders can share ideas and frankly, open up. Open up things about security that a lot of people did not know.
Yeah, yeah. See, I'm starting couple of initiatives. Hope with all your advice and the team that I have, probably I'll be able to accomplish what we have planned. The idea is to, have that information capture and translated it to the people who need. So interesting times, as you said, but this was a very short notice. I was happy that you said yes, but it means a lot. Uh, Thank you for being on the show.
I'm excited to see the final outcome. And this was a fun chat. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you, Arita. Definitely we'll catch up
All right,
sometime. Yeah.
done. Take care. See you.
Bye bye.
Bye.